red, you can twist it, the boat twists, just makes it really easy to control, and that's what we saw on the aft deck with that nice control. That's a nice lower deck, isn't it? And that's a really nice, goes well up and the most of it is. It's big, dinette area, lovely outside space. There's a hard top on this one as well. Hydraulic, they're electric, and they can operate without a damage on it, which is very helpful.
All right, let's get this show on the road. A little bit of breeze around, little. Until we fall off the mooring. Tide is coming in, we're almost at the top. A neap tide. Anyway, we're off the mooring and we're moving. Engine is freshly serviced, and the other thing it is just had the water pump replaced. So I'd be interested to see. So I've always thought this engine ran a little bit hot. So I'm interested to see whether that's made any difference to the temperature. The old one had a bit of a leak in it. Not too bad, but a leak all the same. So that's been replaced. And where to today? Well, I don't know, and that's the beauty of it. I might head around Goat Island. I don't think there's going to be much sailing done here. They are predicting southwesterly topping out at about 7 knots. So I don't think there's going to be much sailing being done. I need to give the boat a bit of a run anyway. The engine feels beautiful, by the way. Thank you, Nicholas. But I need to give the boat a run just to clear the bottom off a little bit. Yeah. Look, I don't understand sport generally. I'm not a sporting person. I just don't get it. But I have to say that rowing completely bewilders me. I understand where it comes from. I understand the competitiveness of it. I understand. I just don't understand. What would you want to go backwards in a boat? And I find most rowers here on the Lane Cove River to be pretty polite, pretty respectful of other boaters. Most of the time, I find them really, really good, particularly the school groups. Riverview's just back up the road there, and I find them to be pretty good. I've found them elsewhere to be not so good. Yeah, I don't have to understand it for it to be a thing, of course, but it just bewilders me why you'd want to do that. But anyway, each to their own. And there is a boat up here. When I was a youngster, there was a type of boat that I just thought was wonderful, and I wished I had one. Well, I like two types of boats. I liked the old timber cabin cruisers, half cabin cruisers as I knew them. I loved them, the old putt-putt boats that were very common on Brisbane water when I used to holiday there as a child, and as a child. So I loved those. I spent a lot of time rowing an old putt-putt boat from here to there, so I didn't have an engine for it. But as far as modern boats go, and these boats really, I thought, wow, if you've got one of these, you've really made it. And one day I aspire to have one of these. I still like them. I probably wouldn't ever buy one, but I still like them. And we are now privileged, in my humble opinion, to have one moored here in the Lane Cove River. And I'm not sure if it's the only one, but I think it is. And we're just approaching that now. It's funny, now that I can afford one, I don't think I want one. And here we are. The venerable Mariner 31. Oh, I just love those. So if you own that, congratulations. It's one of the few that I've seen on the harbour that has been looked after. Many of them seem to be gathering dirt and seagulls and whatever else, and that one seems to be in very, very good condition. Yes, when I was about 12, I thought that is the boat for me. Just noticed a couple of kayakers up ahead, and they really sneak up on you. So it's always, well, there's actually three now. Like I see, two have high vis, and I really applaud that. But you just don't know where they're going, and I'm going to try and probably split these guys because I don't think they know where they're going. Yes, I'll split them. The one on with the orange cap seems like they've got half an idea. The other two, I think, are first timers. was having a conversation with a friend of mine, Phil, and we were talking about why people don't use their boats, and we were just talking about that after my last video about using your boat. And Phil mentioned a particular type of boat, and we both agreed that there seemed to be a few of these sitting around and never being used. An incredibly capable boat, very highly regarded as a cruiser and a racer, exceptionally well made, all that kind of stuff. So why are these boats sitting around? And I've got one just up here that has sat around, I think, for a long time based on the condition of the hull. I've seen the owners on there once, and they seem to be nice people, and certainly not having a crack at anybody. It's just a reality. And the boat I'm referring to, the type of boat I'm referring to, not that old Cavalier, is the Beneteau First 47. Now, just to juxtapose this one, I'll see if I can get some footage of the other one close to me that is raced all the time. I've seen this thing move once. I'm sure it moves when I'm not here, but it really does need a lot of work. It's really in not the greatest condition, and that's just what we can see. Let's pop you here for a moment. And Phil and I, the boating experts of Sydney Harbour, surmise, though, I think quite fairly, that when you start getting up to boats that size, you really do need a crew. You can't handle a boat like that by yourself, generally speaking. It's not like you can, like I do, and like Phil does on his Cab 28, but like I do, and come out by yourself, have a burst around the harbour, and have a sail or a motor, whatever you do. It's not like you can really do that on a boat that size. So I sometimes find it difficult with this boat, as opposed to my old Cab 28, to get it onto the mooring. It's not that much heavier, but there's a lot more dynamics with the boat. It's way longer, it's wider, it carries a lot more speed. So I find it more difficult. I would think you would just about find it impossible on something that's like that Beneteau, which is almost 50 feet long. So 16 feet longer than this thing is. It's okay when you've got somebody on the helm and being able to motor you and stop you pretty much on your buoy, but I think to do what I do and run forward and try and catch it is incredibly difficult. Tell me what you think. If I've got this completely wrong, I'll blame Phil. No, if I've got this completely wrong, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. And if you have a boat about that size and you sail it by yourself and manage it by yourself, or I tip my hat to you because I think you're amazing, but I'd be interested to hear how you do it. Really interested to hear that. So we're now entering the main area of the Parramatta River. For reference, there's the harbour bridge and everything up there. We're going to go across to the Balmain side, and we're going to skirt up the southern, in this case, bank of the Parramatta River. Keep out of the way of the ferries as much as we possibly can, and just generally have a poke around because I really love this part of the Parramatta River. Got about 6 knots of sou'wester. I'm going to run the Jenny out and just see what we can do. Couldn't be bothered with the main, just pull the Jenny out to see whether we could just have a nice trip down the river. It's been lovely just basically floating, drifting if you like. So the tide's still coming in, so we're against the tide and we've got about 2 knots headway. The wind is at around 3 to 5 knots, so nothing to speak of, clearly. And this is definitely the best time of the year to be on the harbour. There is, apart from the commercial traffic and the odd kayaker, there's just nobody out here. This is the Snails Bay area of Sydney's. Birch Grove was the ferry stop just back there. It's almost like a storage area for a lot of things they use on the harbour, and you often see like staging that they'll use around a Darling Harbour and things like that. There's usually a large boat called the Pelican in here, which is a transporter of some type, and it carries boats around in its hull. Similar to this big one up here, this big barge, which they will sink. The boat floats in, and then they float that back up again, and they can transport boats and things around on that. There's a name for those kind of things, and if I remember it, I'll put it down below there. I'm going to kick the engine in because I want to start doing a little bit of getting the boat going. So sailing was very nice, but we need to get things going. It's just so great that there is nobody out here. We are heading in towards Mort Bay, and you can see there ahead of you some my absolute favourite buildings on the harbour, and they're beautiful Waterview Wharf workshops, and they are, my understanding is they are artists' workshops. And wonderful colours. Wonderful colours. The ferry workshops, and also the old Colgate factory. If you are not familiar with the Colgate brand, they are most famous in this country, at least, for toothpaste. I'm sure they are similar in other countries as well. Palmolive is the other thing that is written on that building, and they are, in this country, most famous for soap. Most Australians who are old enough would remember the "you're soaking in it" Palmolive dishwashing liquid ad from, I think, back in the 1970s. I think that's probably where they are best known for most Australian viewers. So this is known as Ballast Point, and you can imagine why it's called Ballast Point. Would have been a place to pick up and then again lose ballast for the transport ships. Sydney, of course, Sydney Harbour was, of course, a very, very busy working harbour for, well, for most of its recent history. I'm talking about from white settlement all the way up to even the 1960s and 70s. There was still a lot of, and you could say actually to the 80s, 1980s, there was a lot of commercial activity on the harbour. There is still a lot of commercial activity, but certainly nothing like what it used to be. And these areas have been turned into wonderful areas for the public to, well, they're recreational areas more or less. So we're looking at the suburbs of Balmain East and the like around here. Very old, although used to be working class suburbs. They're certainly not that now. They have certainly gone upmarket in a big way. Although Balmain's always been, little dry dock there, Balmain's always been, since the time that I've known it, even though it's expensive, it's a little bit off kilter with what you'd expect expensive to be. We're talking more, would arty be a fair word? I think it would be. It's certainly not being disrespectful to anybody. It's quite arty and tends to attract a more artistic group than, say, some of the really glitzy suburbs. I think that's probably the best way to see it. And you can see the people are just out here, even though it's raining and it's winter here in Australia, people are just out there enjoying these beautiful, this beautiful scenery. I'm going to turn the boat around, even though we're still in 10 metres of water, very deep water here. You can see there all the old docks, now recreational areas. Rain is not dampening anybody's spirits. Lots of people fishing. The Balmain ferry terminal. Sydney Ferry Base. Some lovely old homes there right on the water. The Colgate Palmolive factory, of course, now luxury flats. Those who follow Jules guides will know that term.